My name is Frank Christensen, and I'm the coordinator of officials for IFAF in Europe. In today's training tape, we're looking at unsportsmanlike conduct, and specifically the one that we typically refer to as chicken fighting. So we'll look at some examples and see how much is too much, when can we only book one player, and when would we rather book both players. And we'll talk about some philosophy also. But before we get there, let's have a look to see what the rulebook has to say on this topic. In the rulebook, we go to Rule 921A1J, and that rule says dead ball contact fouls such as pushing, shoving, striking, etc. that occur clearly after the ball is dead and that are not part of the game action should be called as unsportsmanlike conduct, and that is mirrored in the MOFO, where 3.5 unsportsmanlike conduct and fighting. Under fighting, it says if action is deemed to be fighting, then the player must be disqualified. So far, so good. It is not fighting, however, if players are merely pushing each other. That means no deliberate punches, kicks, or blows are struck or aimed. If in doubt, it is not fighting. Don't use the term punch to describe roughness to a player or coach unless it is associated with a disqualification. So the pushing and shoving is not fighting. It is an unsportsmanlike conduct, and therefore also not a personal foul. And that was the book. Now let's have a look at some real live examples in the game film. In this first example, we're looking at the tackle away from the camera, so the right tackle. And he's going to engage a defender, and then they're going to go at it well after the play is over. And then he'll do that right there, trying to get a call, hoping that the official only saw the very last part of the action, where we are more whenever we can, we want to get both players down. We don't want to just call something like this on one player, and it from this angle it doesn't look too bad, but if we have a look at the end zone shot, we'll see what the referee saw. And here's the end zone shot, the right tackle, A50 there. He's going to engage, and then you see there's some pushing to the helmet and pushing back, and there they both push each other, and I think it does rise to the level of where we can call this, and again, we don't want to just call one of these guys. If there's any way that we can book them both and let them know that now they're on the bubble of getting tossed out of the game, if they have one more unsportsmanlike, they're gone. In the old days, this would just be an offset personal foul, and they could do the same again on the next play. Now we're telling everybody that this is unacceptable behavior, and if they do it again, they're out of the game. Here it's the center and the linebacker, and they're going to engage and do some stuff, and then they're going to continue to do stuff. But the umpire does a good job of being all over it, and we can't really tell what's going on down there, but whenever we can, once the umpire throws that flag, whenever we can, and we can't see who is doing what, unless the umpire has a definitive answer to, one guy said something, or there was clearly something that one player did that the other didn't do, then we want to tag both of these players, because we don't want to end up in a situation where they're both involved in it, and then we only take one of them. So whenever we can, if we have any kind of chance to do it, we want to give both of these players the same unsportsmanlike conduct, so that we can hopefully settle down the players and get back to the game. The other thing here is for the referee is it's fine that everybody else starts writing on their on their card. But for the referee, your responsibility here, or your focus, really should be to get the information and go out and do your announcement. This ends up looking a little tedious, that you're writing the card. Everybody's looking at you and waiting for your announcement, and this just ends up looking a little, I don't want to say lazy, but a little like we're taking too long. And then you can always write on your card after the announcement, and if you forget about the number, you can get it from somebody else. So for the referee, get your announcement and move on as quickly as you can with the signals and your announcement. On this play, we just follow the fullback, and he's going to engage with the linebacker right there, and then they're going to continue after the play is over. And this is really the archetypical situation where two players just keep going at it, and you can, in the old days this would have been a personal foul, but when you can't really figure out who initiated what and who continued what, and there's no really big escalation from any side, the best we can do is flag it and come in and separate it, make sure that we get both numbers so that both can be booked with an unsportsmanlike, and hopefully that will calm down everybody. On this play, all we have to do is follow the runner. He's going to come to the sideline, and then he's going to go out of bounds right there, and then he's going to get a push, and he's going to shove the ball back in 59's face. So this one is an interesting one. He goes out of bounds there, so the play's over, and then he gets an unnecessary push by B59. Now, in itself, this push is maybe a talk to, but that's pretty much it. But then the retaliation of the ball being shoved in 59's face is I think it's a good example of a situation where we then take both of these players. I think because or A5 retaliates, then we don't just want to take him because there was a reason he did it. I think it makes good sense to apply the unsportsmanlike conduct on both of these players. It's a little bit the same as if one player says something to another player, and that other player then takes a swing at him. Then we would disqualify both of those players because they're both involved in the situation and not just the guy that took a swing. I think this is the same principle, that there's the push, and then because of the ball, now it becomes too big, but the escalation itself is not as severe. So here we want to book both of these players. On this play, we're looking slot back away from the camera, and he's going to engage here initially or eventually with number 10, and they're just pushing and pushing and pushing and doing it after the play, and then they're pushing some more, and here comes the flag, and again, whenever we have the opportunity, we want to book them both, because we really can't tell who was the worst guy in this. So this is a offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct. In this last play, we're looking at the center, and this is just to illustrate the difference where in this situation we're not going to book both of these players. So we've got that little push there by A72, which is really a nothing push, and then we've got a long delay, and then a clear escalation by the defensive player. So in this situation, we would not book them both. This would be solely on the white player, because the push by A72 is nothing compared to this gross escalation. So this would not be a situation where we would try to give them both for unsportsmanlike conduct. And that was that was the training tape. I hope it made sense, and I hope you found something you can use on the field.